Conviction of both of her parents for financial crimes in 2022, Savannah has not only become the guardian of her young siblings, but also a vocal advocate for criminal justice and prison reform. She's seen our system's pitfalls firsthand and is passionate about improving the conditions for those trying to rebuild their lives. Well, Savannah, you have transitioned from being a reality TV star to a prison reform advocate.
Yes.
That's quite a lot in the middle there. Tell me how you got there.
So obviously I was on TV for 10 years and it was a scripted comedy for all intents and purposes. People think it was this big reality show, but it was really a scripted comedy. And it's been really hard for me to break away from that mold into what I'm doing now, because people look at me as this like ditzy, dumb blonde, and they don't really give me a chance to prove myself. And it all started with obviously both my parents going to federal prison 2.5 years ago, and I knew nothing about prisons. I thought bad people go to prison, that is what it is. And that's so far from the truth.
So tell me what you want people to know about your parents' story.
So our case was in Fulton County, Georgia, and originally they were not going to prosecute because they said it was very weak. They didn't have the evidence that they needed to prosecute, that it wasn't a case. It took 9 years to issue a federal indictment. Both prosecutors were Democrats. They have donated to Democratic candidates, and at trial, we knew it was game over. So, I mean, I could go on about the corruption in the case, but they referred to us as the Trumps of the South at trial, the prosecutors did. And I think that's why, obviously, I spoke at the RNC on the weaponization of the DOJ, because we saw it firsthand.
All of this feels to you like it was targeted.
Yes.
And it was targeted because your family was successful, because your family was on television, and you became a bit of a mark in some ways.
There was an OIG report, and in the report they say we substantiate the Chrisleys' claims that they were unfairly targeted due to their celebrity status.
Wow.
They even had my father's face on a dartboard in their office.
So having been through that, seeing then last year what President Trump had to deal with.
Yes.
What's all of this been like for you to kind of come to this moment where you say, I thought it was the Department of Justice, but I've heard you refer to it as the Department of Injustice.
Yes, without a doubt. You don't understand it until it happens to you. And when it happens to you, like I grew up, you live, breathe, die our country. Like I'm from the deep South. That's just how you grow up. But when you see your name, the United States of America versus the Chrisleys, it causes you to take a step back and be like, whoa, is this really what I was taught to believe in? So when I saw obviously what the president was going through, what my family has gone through, it was eerily similar. And I knew I just had to speak up, and that's why I chose to speak at the RNC. The judge in our case used it against me. In the courtroom, the judge looked at me and said, and to the person who has these minor children in your custody, you need to be more concerned with these children's well-being than you are spreading false information to the public.
Wow.
And this was right after I spoke at the RNC.
And, you know, speaking of Chloe and Grayson,
yes,
these are your siblings.
Yes.
And now you, Savannah, are in charge of their lives. You have been tasked with being their guardian.
I wasn't expecting to get 2 kids. None of us expected the trial to go the way that it did. I can't imagine how hard it was for my parents to turn their kids over to someone else. My mom literally just yesterday, I got in the mail a Mother's Day card from my mom that just said, like, I will never be able to repay you for what you've done for Chloe and Grayson and us. Like, I'm so proud of you.
You are now this huge advocate for prison reform, but what would you like to see happen? In a perfect world, where would you like to see more fairness, more transparency?
Yeah. Well, first off, obviously these prosecutors, like, they have to be held accountable. My dad got 12 years. My mom got 7. That sentence is just extremely harsh, and to waste taxpayer dollars to house them in these camps. I mean, there is no rehabilitation whatsoever. I did a town hall with RFK Jr., and he spoke about wanting to turn these camps into like actual working farms, to where people learn a trade, to where you're growing your own food, you're actually learning something and rehabilitating yourself, and I love that.
How are your parents doing?
They're okay. It's extremely sad to see how these individuals are treated. I mean, my mom, she's in a facility in Lexington, Kentucky, to where there is no air conditioning. Regardless of what someone does, I think you should have basic bare necessities, and it's just heartbreaking to see that my mom is in conditions like that.
How often do you talk to them?
Every day.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I talk to them every day. It's short because they only get an allotted amount of minutes a month. So I do talk to them. They're always calling, checking in, making sure the kids are good, I'm good, but it's hard.
Gold Star's son, Christian Jacobs, hugging President Trump at Arlington National Cemetery 8 years ago while honoring his late father, Marine Sergeant Christopher Jacobs. Christian recapped the surprise meeting on Fox and Friends.
Said, do you want to come to see my dad? And he said, sure. And then I said, hello. Then I started showing the pictures to him. He said, this is great.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A Marine.
There we go.
Christian and his mom, Brittany Jacobs, join us now. So great of you all to join us, and thank you. Brittany, let me start with you. First of all, thank you for your unbelievable sacrifice. How did you spend Memorial Day yesterday?
Yesterday, we spent Memorial Day at Arlington Cemetery. It is our yearly tradition ever since Chris passed to go visit him. So we spent our Memorial Day visiting him.
Very nice. Christian, when you look, you're a grown young man now. When you look back at that video from 8 years ago, you were a little boy. What goes through your mind?
I thought it was really cool that I got to meet him. I didn't think of it like how I would now. I thought it was just some person, but now I think of it as so much more.
So yesterday, when you were at Arlington, you all ran into the Secretary of Defense. Is that correct?
Yes, we did.
And what did he say? And did you remember that interview you did a few years ago?
I didn't remember it, but I believe I probably did it.
So, so when you're, obviously it's a tremendous responsibility that you have. Your father lives on in you. It's also, I would think, somewhat of a comfort. What's that like?
I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry.
I think Christian, he loves getting to talk about his father to people, and he enjoys hearing about his dad. And yesterday there were Marines at Arlington who got to tell him about his dad and give him some pictures. So that was nice, and for him, I'm sure that was comforting.
So, Christian, what do you want to be when you grow up, when you get older?
I still want to be a Marine.
Why do you want to be a Marine?
It's just something that I've been interested in, and then also I have like 3 generations in my family that have been Marines on my dad's side.
So, Brittany, when you look at your son now as a growing young man, obviously you see your husband in him as well.
Absolutely. Christian is the spitting image of his dad. He acts like him, looks like him. He even talks like him sometimes.
And what do you think about his plans on becoming a Marine?
Whew. It's a tough one, but I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him, and I support him 100%. And I know his father would be so very proud to see his son follow in his footsteps.
That's absolutely tremendous. Thank you all both for your service and your sacrifice.